my husband Peter Cook and I and our two kids, Tom and Sarah, came here to Falmouth just about 5 years ago. And very quickly we got very involved with theater here on the Cape, in particular at the Falmouth Theatre Guild. And the first show that I was cast in here was the Best Christmas Pageant Ever, a show I had never seen and really enjoyed. And over the years it has been produced here. I've been in it now twice. My husband was in it once. We've been involved backstage. Our kids have been involved. And this year finally Peter and I decided that we wanted to take it on ourselves. So I am directing. Pete is stage managing and putting together the set design and building. And both of our kids are involved, so it's very exciting for us. This is a show that has an awful lot going for it. It really is an ideal traditional Christmas show for a community like this. It's relatively short. There's no intermission. It's funny, both for young kids but also for adults. It is a warm story, but it is also complex enough that it doesn't get boring. It isn't simplistic. And I think most people will come away feeling that they've gotten something out of it other than just kind of a general, gee, that was pleasant kind of experience.
Alright, so the play is, I'm practically the narrator of the play, so I tell the audience, like, just one-on-one what's going on and how horrible it is that the Herdmans are joining this Christmas pageant that we've done ever since we were little, and it's so boring, and we really don't like Sunday school all that much, and finally, like, my little brother says, like, to the Herdmans that we get refreshments at Sunday school, so they come and check it out so they can get extra food. And the Herdmans are just really bad kids. They're just horrible and no one likes them. They bully people and everyone in the town hates them, and their parents aren't around and their mom works full time because she doesn't like them either. And so they're just really nasty kids. And then they join this Christmas pageant and everyone's just like, this is going to be horrible. And my mother has to run the Christmas pageant because the lady that normally does broke her leg. So it practically falls on all our family, and it's just like my mother's under a lot of stress, and then we have to be in it, and then the Herdmans come. It's just a whole big mess.
I have always felt very strongly that when you're working with kids in theater, it's very important to get everybody involved. And in the past we've had kids in the chorus, but I wanted to be sure that everybody had a chance to shine in his or her own way. So this year there'll be some changes. One of them is that we have a lot more music, and this allows us not only to have more music, which is wonderful, but also to feature kids who perhaps aren't wonderful in acting as much as they are at singing, or kids who have talents in instrumental music. So we have several instrumentalists. We have half a dozen featured vocalists, and of course all the kids will be singing. Our music director, Jeanne Kuzirian, has taken this on as a wonderful challenge, and she'll be on stage instead of in the pit, playing the role of the music director for the church that's part of the Christmas pageant, and working with the kids on stage, so you'll have a chance to see all of those kids in action. We're going to have some instrumental bits here and there, and of course the usual Christmas pageant music, all of the carols as well. So this will be a very special kind of a show. We've got 45 children, I believe, involved in the cast in general, and then another group of what are called the baby angels, who always steal the show. And I think we have about half a dozen or even more children ages 3 to 5, as well as a couple of senior angels who you will see a couple of times. We have also several whole families involved, which is somewhat different. Mother, father, sister, and brother, all part of the show. And we also have as our Mr. and Mrs. Bradley, a married couple, the Minshalls, who have been involved with theater for a long time and will be debuting as a couple along with their 1-year-old baby, who you'll see at the very, very end of the show. With their 1-year-old baby, who you'll see at the very, very end of the show.
Our son Remy, and it is, I have had the good fortune of being involved in the Theatre Guild for about 10 years now, and this is the 4th time that the organization has done the Best Christmas Pageant Ever. And I think one of the best aspects about the show is that it is truly a family show. It is oftentimes young kids, it's their first opportunity to actually be on stage. And Davian Gould, who plays Mrs. Armstrong, had suggested that it is a great opportunity for kids to be able to get their first family theatrical experience and have it be very positive. And the Guild has, the tickets are very reasonably priced for a family to come and see it. And it is, we're thrilled. This is Corinne's first time being on the stage here, and our son Remy at Falmouth Theatre Guild, and our son Remy will be his first time on stage ever.
I don't want to be a shepherd again.
Tell Mrs. Armstrong you want to be a wise man.
I don't want to be in it.
Everyone's in it. Think of how I would feel if I was sitting there on Christmas Eve with my own children were not the Christmas pageant. Think how your father would feel. You'd feel horrible, wouldn't you, Bob?
Well, actually I didn't plan to go. You know how crowded it always is.
I play the mother, who is Grace, who has to take over doing the show because Mrs. Armstrong, played by Davian Gould, has broken her leg, and she usually is the Miss Know-It-All who does everything in the church. I'm less than thrilled to be taking this over just because I would have rather done some of her other duties, because it's the same thing every year, a lot of kids, and I'm happy with my own little family. And what ends up happening is the kind of rough and tumble large family from town, which is kind of like the persona non grata of the town. They kind of beat up all the kids, they're bullies, comes to our church because they think they're going to get snacks. And they end up being in our Christmas pageant. So everybody thinks that the Christmas pageant is going to be a disaster. So it's Grace, the mom's job, to try to not only make it not a disaster, but make it fun for everybody with the church breathing down her neck because she has these, quote, bad kids, even though their kids are bad, in their Christmas pageant. And everybody is kind of flabbergasted. And Bob is... he plays Bob. Rob plays Bob.
Yeah, I sort of go along with the fact that
flow.
she ends up having to direct the show, but I'm less than thrilled with the idea that we're gonna have to be involved in the same old show again. But the real moment in the show is when this rough and tumble group of kids who people are afraid of and everything, they come in the Christmas spirit because they've never really had Christmas. They didn't get gifts. They don't know the whole story is about. That it touches them, and in so touching them, it touches the audience as a whole, and it brings my character Bob, and Grace around and Grace is on board that the Herdmans, they should be able to. They were the ones that auditioned, and they should be able. And she makes the best out of it, and she sort of convinces everyone in the end that it was the best. Most people, some of the lines at the end of the show are, "This was the best Christmas pageant ever," as the show was named. So,
and even our kids, who we'll probably meet later, Kit and Charlie, well, I played Kit and Andrew, who play
Beth and Charlie.
Beth, who played Beth and Charlie. They even kind of, by the end, realize what the kids of the Herdmans are and kind of get into it and feel bad for them and kind of make them kind of bring them into the fold, so to say. Some of the parts are illusionary because it does happen so fast. It's a fairly quick show, about an hour and 10 minutes. So it's a nice show for the whole family to come and see. So a lot of stuff gets packed in to a very short period of time. So.
One of the things that, as I said, I really wanted to do with this particular version of Best Christmas Pageant was add in more music. And I really wanted to make sure that a variety of kids had a variety of opportunities to sing and ideally to do some instrumental music as well, since those kids who were instrumentalists had not really been involved in prior years. Jeanne Kuzirian, who is a music teacher that most of you probably have known for many years, has been involved with Christmas Pageant here for the last 4 years. And in all that time she's been wonderful, but she's always been in the pit, kind of telling the kids what to sing in the very last portion. And so I thought perhaps she might be interested in doing a little bit more than that. So I went and talked to Jeanne, and indeed, not only did she want to do a little more than that, but she had some fabulous ideas, which are going to really make this show something special. So Jeanne, what was your response when I showed up and said, hey, how would you like to play a role on stage and create a much more robust musical experience with the play?
Well, we have had numerous conversations as to how to expand the music part of the show. And I particularly like what you have done, how you have approached it. First, by bringing the show into the present day time frame, which is a lot more realistic for the kids to approach. I like that we are including instrumentalists. We have a clarinetist, we have a saxophonist. They are at different levels of ability with their instrument, but are very fine performers. It is exciting to see them in action. We also have a cellist who will be providing moving time music for the scenes to go from one situation to another, and also in cases accompany the rest of the kids as they are singing carols. And particularly what is nice is that all of the kids that are in the show are involved all the way through. There is not a huge amount of time where you must wait and then you get to sing a few carols. So I am very excited by how you have approached all of this.
One of the neatest things that has happened, we decided to create a group of vocalists. In the past, some of the kids who starred in the show sang as a little interlude, and I thought, gee, that's not fair. They always get all the good stuff. So we decided to ask kids when they auditioned if they were interested to do a little bit of singing. And Jeanne selected some kids, and we worked together, and we came up with 6 kids who are kind of featured vocalists. One of the neat things about this group is that most of them did not know that they had a voice.
Correct. And they are also singing in parts, which is exciting to see how quickly they have been able to put this together. And again, it is a group of kids that are at a variety of ages also. They fit wonderfully together. They're exciting to work with. And they have had a chance to actually feel a part of the show instead of just, I will sing at the very end.
Right, absolutely. And that's happening more and more as we rehearse.
Yes. Yes.
And I play Beth Bradley.
I'm Andrew Bielinski, and I play Charlie Bradley. I'm Aspen Hansen. I play Ralph Herdman. I'm Sarah, and I play Loretta Herdman. I'm Christina Timmy, and I play Imogene Herdman. I'm Ethan Pratt, and I play Ollie Herdman. I'm Lily Rapoza, and I play Gladys Herdman. I'm Joel Hansen, and I play Claude Herdman.
I was in the same play 2 years. I was in the angel choir 1 year, and then an angel choir the next year, and I was also in the stage group. So this is my first play ever, like as an actress, like a big role. So it's like really new, and I love it. But I did like theater at school, and I've been in small plays, but this is like the first time I've done it, and so it's really close to me, and it's like, this is my first role, so I like it a lot. Mother didn't pay much attention to Mrs. Armstrong. She said Mrs. Armstrong was stuck up in the hospital with nothing to do but think up problems. And there weren't going to be any problems. Of course, she didn't count the Herdmans. That was Charlie's fault.
Hey, Loretta, you give me back my lunch.
Sure, kid, here.
You stole my dessert again.
How do you know?
'Cause it isn't here.
What was it?
2 Twinkies. Well, it pretty much, like, with me, when the Herdmans come into, like, the play, like, the kid and, like, the mother and the father are, like, helping the Herdmans and they're, like, starting to understand the Herdmans, and they're, like, changing their feelings about the Herdmans. And I'm pretty much just, like, not changing at all. I'm just, like, staying the same, but I'm the one who, yeah, I like, say, like, I don't care, like, 'cause Loretta's stealing my lunch, and then I say, I don't care if you steal my lunch, because I get all the dessert I want in Sunday school, and then, so they decide to come to Sunday school, and then, like, I'm the one that starts this whole thing. And I really just don't want to have anything to do with the Christmas pageant, because, like Kit said, it's just so boring, and it's just not fun at all. And so, yeah.
We have a wonderful cast this year for Best Christmas Pageant, and particularly what makes it a very nice cast is the way that they work together. You have a very keen sense for who should be in which role and using their gifts. I think it has gelled beautifully so far.
Now what's the matter? Oh, well, everyone make room for the Herdmans. Come on, come in.
Okay, yeah. Basically, my character is really a thief, and I bully Charlie, and I always steal his lunch and basically his dessert. And he's saying that I really don't care that you steal my dessert. So he says, I'll give you my dessert, and he's just bragging about how he gets his dessert all the time at Sunday school, and I get really interested. So I go there thinking that there's going to be tons of desserts. But at the same time, they're doing the Christmas pageant, and we're like, sure, we'll just be in it because we're just here. We'll probably get something out of it. So I'm a wise man in the play, and basically I steal people's phones and I bully people. That's basically my character.
Was that fun?
It's very fun.
Well, I'm Ralph Herdman, and I play Joseph in the Christmas pageant. And I am just as mean as all the other Herdmans. It's where we all pass down our knowledge of nastiness, generation, sibling to sibling. And we all we make a big mess most of the time. We're smoking cigars in the bathroom, and everyone thinks there's a fire, and so everyone's screaming, running around, going all over the place. And then we come out and we're like laughing at the trouble we've caused.
It's going to be a modern thing that my mom, who is the director, is doing. We're going for like people who are always texting during Sunday school and stuff.
Alright, well my character, Jeanne Herdman, really is a know-it-all. I mean, I can embarrass people and I can just make people feel bad about themselves. That's really my thing. And I play Mary in the Christmas pageant, and our mother left us, basically, and she's at work all the time. And part of our aggression is from just being lonely, because we have to figure a way to raise ourselves, and it doesn't always go well, apparently. And Lily Rapoza here, she's the youngest of the Herdmans, not in theory, and she's supposed to be the worst, and we all kind of play off of her attitude, and it's a really fun show. I'm really enjoying it.
Okay.
So, as she was saying, my character, Gladys Herdman, she is the smallest and the toughest and the meanest of the Herdmans. And she loves comics. She's obsessed with comics. And she loves superheroes. And I play the angel of the Lord in the Christmas pageant. So, I was in this once before, and I was in a smaller part. This is my first main part. And I'm having a lot of fun.
Basically go along with, when I hear about snacks in Sunday school, I go along with Loretta's plan to go to Sunday school, so I end up being in the play, and I play in the Christmas pageant. I'm a wise man, and basically I'm really mean, and I like bullying other kids, and I usually set stuff on fire with Claude Herdman.
Well, as I said, I'm Claude,
And he's very questionative about the pageant. When she's reading the Bible, she reads the Bible, and he wants to know a lot of stuff. Take for instance, one of my lines is, what's an inn? And they tell me what's an inn, and I ask if I'm what people, Jesus, and Alice gets all offended and says, no, Jesus wasn't born in. And so I'm really just really doing stuff with Ollie, blow stuff up.
I'm Peter Cook, and I'm the stage manager for Best Christmas Pageant Ever. And my job is to make sure everything runs smoothly on stage. We move everything out, everybody's where they're supposed to be, and pull the whole production together. The challenges are that we have a short period of time in which to build the set and to get everything in and out. The fall show, Sunset Boulevard, those folks got everything out, and we actually took their set down on the same night and covered the pit at the front of the stage, and immediately started building the set. The fantastic thing about the show is that so many parents have gotten involved in building the pieces. We have one person who dedicated himself to building the stairs for our trapdoor, which is part of the show. And he built the whole stairs, the staircase, and the lid comes up, and that's going to be a fun part. And just parents have pitched in. I needed a truck to move all the wood that covered the pit where the orchestra was for the last show. And I didn't have a truck, and one of the kids volunteered as his dad, and we used his truck. And so just that kind of pitching in and building, and when we call for a build date, lots of people come out, and they just start going crazy. We have a carpenter, Chris Warner, who is the genius when it comes to giving design and architecture and building how we're going to put together our different set pieces, and I really appreciate all the help. And it really has gotten us through so far in a short period of time a lot of challenges.
The three of us, it will be a great opportunity to actually play husband and wife on stage, which is always fun to do. I can't compliment Lisa and Peter enough. Sometimes it's a challenge as an organization to do a show 4 times in a row and not have it sort of seem like been there, done that kind of a thing. And this couldn't be more different than that. There's a lot of people out there that are new folks that are enthusiastically involved, and most all the set that was down there that you've seen that you'll be looking at shortly was all done by people that were new to being involved and working. Is truly a really community effort.
It's actually easier when your whole family's part of the show. In our family, I'm tech director, my wife Lisa Rudy is director, my son is playing clarinet, Tom Cook is playing clarinet on stage, Sarah Cook is one of the Herdmans, and it's honestly, we've done shows where we've split and have one child in it or one of us in the show, and that's tough when you have a family. But when you're all in it, you know where everybody is.
Acting is just a great thing for me. This is my first play I've ever been in my whole life. It was when I got accepted. I didn't think I'd get a main role. It was really excited when I got this role. It was like, yay!
Our whole family actually got to play because Joel and me are brothers. So our little sister's a baby angel. Our mom's
Four church ladies.
Yeah, one's church ladies. Yeah, and then my dad is rector. And so we all have parts in the play, and at least me and Joel, we're loving the experience. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I was in another play. This was like my only other big play. It was in the Barnstable. Well, it was at the Barnstable High School. I would see these props all over the place, and it would and then I go into this play, and Sunset Boulevard's on at the same time as this play, and it's so I've already had experience. Don't touch this stuff. You need to make sure all the stuff is in place, but that play was on a day after our play.
Well, this set, in past shows, they've had different designs. Every stage manager and every designer has a different design. This design is that we've decided to do a couple things. We decided to have the place where the main action happens with the pageant to actually take place in the sanctuary, in the church. We have all the kids on stage in the set. One of my favorite parts that I really wanted to put in this is a rotating stage, where it's a stage with a wall that's split down the middle that serves two purposes for two different parts of the play. That was fun. I really wanted to use the trap door because I love stuff like that, and we made it happen. So that's part of the play too. And I wanted to also make it big and dramatic in terms of covering the entire stage. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to cover the pit, because we didn't want to have the children and everybody so far away from the audience. So right now we have the pit covered. So when the little kids go over in the front and at the end of the pageant scene, everybody's out front. And everybody's literally in the audience, so you really feel closer to the cast. Another thing with the set that was important is that our wonderful music director, Jeanne Kuzirian, in the past show, she's been in the pit down below playing piano, and she's back, but we wanted to put her on stage as the choir director. And we put her piano on stage, so that's a difference in the set. So she's on a little rolling stage to get her on there to play. So it's different elements. We want to add things to it, and there's a few surprises. I'm not going to give it all away, but we've added some other things that people will see, just to tweak it and make it interesting. But the cast is wonderful. I mean, I can say from the stage manager position, I'm not worried about working with this cast or getting the show organized, because all these kids pay attention, and when you ask them to, they do what they need to do.
Well, I've been in many plays, and this is the biggest cast I've worked with, because there are literally millions of people in this cast. Little millions, yes. And I'm trying so hard to memorize everyone's names, but it really is a lot of fun. And like we said in the show with the mother, all of the Herdmans have questions, and especially my character, since I am the oldest as a Herdman. I'm definitely the youngest, but as a Herdman, our mother, the Bradley's mother, who runs the Christmas pageant because of the lady who broke her leg, I ask so many questions, and I basically contradict her. I like to gather information and use it to make people feel bad.
I've been in this show for 3 or 4 years, and I played basically in the choir once, and I played Doris. Then I was working the soundboard, and this year I'm a Herdman. And basically it's really cool. I was really excited that I was a Herdman because I never really got this kind of role before. And I played with many, many other shows in this theater, basically backstage. So this theater's great. I like being involved, and she's my best friend.
Great.
And this show is awesome.
And the other thing I want to mention too is it's not just Peter and Lisa, but the kids are spectacular. These kids come in and they know their lines almost immediately, and they are spot on. They work hard, they sing beautifully. Wait till you go out and you get to hear them sing some of the carols. They
knew their lines before
they know
we
our
did.
lines. They really are doing a spectacular. It's really it's a privilege to be involved.
Yeah, but we'll be ready. We'll be ready for the show. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's interesting is that I think that because our cast is so large, we have so many people in this cast. Guaranteed you will know somebody in the cast, or know a friend of a friend in the cast, or you've seen the last person's name on a contractor's truck, or you've seen them at Stop and Shop, or you've seen them somewhere else. So this is really a Falmouth show, where there'll be a lot of people in there. And then there's also a lot more new faces this year. Kids have gotten older, and we have all new kids in the show. So we're hoping everybody can come out to see it.
One of the things that we really wanted to do with this show, which is a holiday tradition and has been seen here over the years many different times, is add to it a great deal more music. And one of the great things that has happened here on the Hill is that our friend George Shar has become the director of the Falmouth branch of the Conservatory. And as a result, Falmouth Theatre Guild, which is right across the parking lot, and the conservatory have had a chance to really get to know each other better and think about ways to collaborate. So George and I started talking about the possibilities of collaborating with music and theater quite a while ago, and we tossed around a number of ideas. And we've come up with some wonderful direction, both with George and with our music director, Jeanne Kuzirian. And so George will tell you a little bit about where we're going with that collaboration for this show.
Well, thank you, Lisa. Well, as Lisa said, it's a thrill to be up here. It is a momentous time in local history. We think with the collaboration of the Cape Cod Symphony and the Cape Cod Conservatory, and we want to strengthen those relationships with the Falmouth Theatre Guild and the College Light Opera and all of the Highfield Hall, all of the arts organizations up here in the Hill. So Lisa and I started to talk some time ago about how we might do that, and what we've come up with is the following plan. And we're very excited about this. We're calling it the Cast Party, and a cast party, but it's by invitation only, and the invitation you get comes along with your ticket to the best Christmas pageant ever. So for you viewers, if you haven't bought your tickets yet for that show, you'll be hearing from Jeanne Kuzirian about that and the music part of that. But coming along with that ticket, after the show, as you make your way to the car, you'll hear a brass ensemble out here in the parking lot right outside the door of the Cape Cod Conservatory. And that brass ensemble is made up of adult players, but also the best high school brass musicians through the Cape Cod Music Educators Association on Cape Cod. And those kids range in age from 14, and actually, Lisa, now that I think of it, there's some college kids in there too that have done this over the years. So we'll have 6 to 12 kids playing Joy to the World and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and all kinds of fun stuff. And then we invite you to come into the conservatory and see what it's like in here. Leslie Losley, one of our faculty members here, is doing decorations. And we have a very special diorama of the preschool that I think the kids will like. It's kind of a miniature version of the preschool. We'll look into a looking glass, and you'll see teddy bears sitting around a chair, and in the back will be the blackboard with, of course, music notes on it, and the alphabet and things like that. So there'll be apple cider and hot chocolate and cookies and after-show munchies. And 4 of our piano faculty have volunteered their time to come in and play Christmas carols. So with your family, you'll be able to come into the big recital hall here, which will be all appropriately decorated, and gather around the piano and sing all of those Christmas favorites. So we're looking to create a warm, fuzzy, old-time Christmas feeling here. And thanks to Lisa and the Falmouth Theatre Guild, it has been a blast. Now, we will be doing this 4 times, so get out your pencil and papers, folks. That'll be December 1st and 2nd. That's a Saturday and Sunday, although your show also runs on November 30th.
Yes.
All right?
We have Friday evening shows, and they run, it's about an hour and a half show, about 7:30 to 9. And then the weekend days are both matinees starting at 4, so sometime around 5:30, people will be heading over here.
So the aspect that the conservatory will be involved with is on those matinees. Those matinees will be getting out about 5:30, and again, you'll hear music and see the beautiful lights, and hopefully you'll come over and have some refreshments with us and share some music. The 1st and the 2nd after those matinee shows, and then again the same the following weekend. So you will have a show on December 7th in the evening, which will not have a cast party,
Right.
but then December 8th and 9th, the following 2 shows will. On the 8th and 9th, we're going to change the music up a little bit to give the brass players a chance to rest their lips, and I'm going to bring in the Falmouth Academy Cool Nights Jazz Band. And they are working on, Lisa doesn't know this, so I won't tell her this right now, but I got those kids working on some spruced up arrangements of like, deck the halls with boughs of holly, you know, kind of jazzy, really fun stuff. And they're going to be, that's a 13-piece band with guitars and trumpets and trombones and saxes. They'll be in the lobby with the doors open so that the music will be wafting into the parking lot. So we're just very excited.
Wonderful. Thank you, George.
My pleasure. We'll see you then.
And I don't have to tell you again, Grace, how important it is to give everyone a chance. Now, here's what I do. I always start with Mary, and I tell them to choose our Mary carefully because, after all, she is the mother of Jesus.
one of the things that makes Christmas Christmas to a lot of people is music. And in this particular show is about the story of putting on a Christmas pageant. And it's the story of a group of people who take that experience very much for granted, almost to the point where they're just bored with the whole idea. And here come this group of so-called bad kids who are essentially neglected kids, for whom all of this is brand new. And so not only is the Bible story new, not only is the experience of being part of a community of people working together brand new, not only is the experience of being taken seriously by adults and children around them brand new, but so too is the experience of being part of a musical experience overall. They've never heard a Christmas carol. They've never been part of any of this. And so every part of that is something they've never heard. When they hear a cello, they've never heard a cello. When they hear Christmas carols around them, they don't know the words because they've never been a part of this. And so what's happening is both that the Herdman kids are experiencing the music for the first time, but also that the people around them are discovering through the Herdmans what they're really doing, why it matters, and they're beginning to understand who these kids are, and how the neglect that they've experienced not only from their own family but through the whole community has tainted everybody's understanding of who they are as human beings. And so it's kind of a story of reconciliation, and so that at the end, and part of this is with the staging, part of it through the writing, which is very good. The entire community of people in the story and hopefully in the audience come to realize that by taking things for granted and by assuming that things are true that may or may not be true, we're doing both ourselves and the people around us a disservice, and we're missing a lot of what it really means to be a community that cares about the spirit of community, the spirit of the holidays, and the kids who are part of that community.
The nice part about including instrumentalists into the show this year is that we are able to use the instrumental background to further illustrate some of the changes that happen in the characters in the show that you just spoke about.
Absolutely.
Because as we watched them in rehearsal, it took our breath away as we watched them.
Yeah.
And listened to what we were able to create. So it will be an exciting year for Best Christmas Pageant.
Absolutely.
Well, that was one of the other things that Lisa has done a really good job of making sure each of the kids, even though some of them may not have speaking parts, or that they each get to have some of their special moments. Some of the kids get to come up through the trap door onto the stage, and Davian Gould, who I mentioned earlier, Mrs. Armstrong, she actually has a great a line she repeats, I think, twice during the show, where she talks about where there's no small parts, only small actors.
I tell them there are no small parts, only small actors.
And then she said, there's no small parts, only small actors. Yeah.
So even though you may not have a lot of lines, or it may not be a knockdown, drag out, career-making role, it's thrilling to be on stage with this group and with all these kids all working together to make this one special thing. So.
And also a learning experience for kids, because sometimes you got to tell them what things mean. Because Mrs. Armstrong has been saying this every year that these kids have been doing this Christmas pageant, and the kids didn't know what it meant when Grace goes and tells them the same line, and she has to explain to them what it actually meant, because they actually thought that it meant that the short kids have as just a bigger part as the tall kids did. So they make light of some of those things in the learning moments. So some of the kids have really learned. Some of our kids didn't really know the Christmas story, some of our actors, so they've actually learned it throughout doing the show, which is really nice that they had the opportunity to.
And there's a lot of sing-along moments, all the music's Christmas carols, and so in
Well, just the other day, George came to our rehearsal, and brought along a pile of envelopes and
And a clipboard,
and a
because you always
clipboard.
have to have a clipboard, and otherwise people don't listen.
And because volunteers here had been putting together letters to ask local merchants if they would be interested in donating cookies or cocoa or what have you. And what kind of response are you getting so far?
Well, we've asked local merchants to donate cookies and hot cider and hot chocolate and things like that in exchange for advertising, of course. And the volunteers, your staff was terrific. The parents all agreed to approach one of the vendors, and responses are coming back now, and they're very good. So there'll be cupcakes. I just heard today from the cupcake, was it the Cupcake Center, the cupcake?
Cupcakes.
Is it cupcakes?
Cupcakes.
Cupcakes.
Yeah.
Cool, cupcakes. So Cupcakes is going to donate some cupcakes. You know, the trickiest thing, Lisa, is because we're doing this 4 times, the food has to be all evenly distributed, so we don't have everything hit here on the 1st or the 2nd. And
It's going to be a bit of a trick.
Not the 8th and the 9th.
And one of the neat things, of course, is that when George said, now who wants to go to all of these places like Gelfie's, of course, all the 8-year-olds immediately rushed over to
That's
grab
true.
an envelope. Yes.
That's true. And a lot of the young actors have agreed to do this, and I think that's very powerful. So we're producing a community event here. A lot of people will be involved, and it'll be a lot of fun. That I promise.
Wonderful.
We will be, the cast will be marching in the Christmas parade, or the Holidays by the Sea parade, and we're going to be right at the front, towards the front of the parade, and we're going to march in the parade, and then we have a show right after that. So we'll literally be coming into town and then driving right up here and getting into, a lot of us will be in costume for that. And that's what's great also about it is the Friday show is 7:30, but both Saturday and Sunday shows are 4 o'clock. So it's an opportunity if you have little kids that you can bring them out to the theater and get them to bed before they get to a point where they melt down, like our dear son who's eating the pamphlet here. But I think it's I'm really looking forward to bringing it to the stage, and it's just a thrill to be such a small part of a great ensemble. Remy, actually, Lisa, the director, was very gracious in allowing him to be able to come on as in the show. During the pageant itself, baby angels come on, and they have little angel wings on, and it's really a moment in the show. And he will be able to come on as a baby angel, and at the very end, when Mr. Bradley sort of invites everyone to sing "Joy to the World" at the end, I'll be carrying Remy on. And it's, like I said, it's a blessing just to be able to be on the stage with kids, but to be on stage with your own kid, and at such a young age, we're thrilled. It'll be very exciting for all of us.
But of course, everyone will have an important role to play. You know what Mrs. Armstrong always tells you, there are no small parts, only small actors.
Go. Yes, you may. Hang on, everybody. We've got 2 more kids coming.